Good evening, it's Trevor. Headphones Hi-Fi Reviews. It's 8:15. I've just finished a 12-hour shift, and to my shock and amazement, and my cameraman's too, a package from Hifiman's arrived. So there's no time to waste. We better open it up and see what's inside. I've applied for loaner reviews of the RE2000 IEMs, the J2 electrostatic headphone and amplifier, and the HE6SE revised model of their legendary HE6 planar magnetic full-size headphones. I have no idea what's in this box at this point, so you and I are going to open it right now and find out what's going on, and we're then going to try and set it up in some way and listen to it, or in some way evaluate it, and we'll do something a bit more in depth later on. But right now we're going to just do my very first view of it. I can see now, if we can just focus on that, it says Hifiman RE2000 Silver. So we're going to thank Mark from Hifiman, because I think he's integral in this, for the opportunity to have a look at something as special as that. And we're also going to focus on some new clothing that I don't think you've seen before. So this is Dylan's Avant-Garde Milton Keynes 2017 mini meet, organised by Mark, Pedalhead of Head-Fi, and Andy, Smile 1966 of Head-Fi. So anyway, that's to one side. I've got a pair of scissors. I've got all sorts of different equipment here that we can use to have a look at whatever's inside here, but it looks like we've at least got a pair of RE2000 Silver in-ear monitors from Head-Fi. If you've been following me on my YouTube channel, Headphones Hi-Fi Reviews, a bit of a boring title, but we're stuck with it at the moment, you'll know that I've been reviewing stuff that's sort of very cheap but very cheerful from Sunny of Better Audio US through Amazon.com. What we're looking at here, I can guarantee you, is a different world. We're talking not tens of dollars, not hundreds of dollars, but perhaps thousands of dollars. Anyway, let's start opening it up very carefully, of course. See what we've got. As you can imagine, extremely well packaged. And obviously I'd like to send it in this box to the next person. We're inside. Box is intact. Right. Yeah, that's it. Let's toss that to one side. So we've got a set of RE2000 in-ear monitors. And some bubble wrap. So double boxed, which is the way to protect anything. And has it survived the journey from China intact? You would say yes, it has. It doesn't almost look to be a bend or a tear or a mark on it. So if you package this mark, well done. Very carefully put that to one side, because I know these things are hellish expensive. So let's tell you a little bit about this straight away. We look at the box. Obviously they're in-ear monitors. They look like they're quite long nozzles. And specifications, 5 Hertz up to 20. So that's very, very low. The impedance is quite high, 60 ohms is quite high for a pair of in-ear monitors, but the sensitivity at 103 decibels is quite sensitive, so one sort of offsets the other. These would probably play perfectly well through a set of through a smartphone. We'll probably be using something a bit more sophisticated than that. Okay, the box is open for the first time. So let's have a look and see what we've got. Nice, quite modern looking travel case. Can you open it without too much embarrassment and everything falling on the floor? I have got one of these, so I should be able to, yes. So there we go. So here we are, the two in-ear monitors. I'm getting the clue that these have got detachable cables. Obviously I pretty much knew that. So they're the 2-pin sort. Which one's left and which one's right? Not immediately apparent on that particular one. Can you see? I'm going to just hand that to my cameraman. She's really good at this sort of stuff, and sometimes I just can't see for looking. These things are so subtle these days for these companies. Very sort of tasteful. Okay, so there are all sorts of tips provided, obviously, with these. You know, that goes without saying, but we've got the twin flange tips. So they sort of hook inside your ears, just to get you up and running. We'll probably use these to start with. Let's have a look and see what the cable is like. So we've got a set of maybe spares or something. I'm not quite sure what the role of these spare 2 pins are. I suspect it might be something to do with going from unbalanced to balanced. And here's our cable. I'll just take the wire off of that and have a quick look. So clearly we can see a left and a right there, so that's easy enough to work out. And accessories wise, what have we got? A set of tips in varying sizes. Okay, so I'll very carefully open that up. Right, so we've got some very soft twin single flange, larger triple flange for the larger ear, Some triple flange there, very soft rubber, and a slightly larger bore for the driver nozzle. I would imagine that would be a sort of a slightly bassier feel. Let's put that away. I don't want to bore you with just looking at ear tips. I mean, there's only so much entertainment value surely from looking at a load of ear tips. Unless you make them yourself, which is another story altogether. So put that to one side. And I think there's something behind this box underneath. If I can get to it, yes, there's a grab hole there. So I've got some sort of ear holders, memory wire type things. Obviously Hifiman's warranty card there to register your product, which is highly recommended as the very first thing you do before you probably even start reading the booklet, which is actually very glossy looking. Okay, so this is the evolution of the in-ear monitors, which has led us apparently to the culmination of the RE2000. A message from Dr. Bian, or is it Bayan? I'm just having a look to see whether there's any specific thing I have to do to differentiate the left or right driver. I would imagine it's pretty obvious once I put them in my ears as to which one's going to be the left and which one's going to be the right. H connectors, etc, etc, etc. Pair of... Okay, so how to wear two different styles of wearing. We'll just figure it out as we go, I think. Okay, so that's a typical man, and leafing through the documentation at lightning speed. But again, we're here for entertainment. So let's put all that away and see if we can get these put in. So first of all, I'm going to try and work out which is the right and which is the left. Yeah, so to me that's the right. So let's find the right ear. And insert the cable. Again, we're going to probably just pause it for a second so as we can get this properly done, because this hasn't got too much entertainment value, but the right one's in. So we'll come back in a second once we've got them all set up, and then we'll put them in the ears and we'll connect it to something and start having a listen. So we'll see you in a second. We're back and we're professional again because we've put these in. Myself and the cameraman, she's really good at working this stuff out. So we'll show you what we feel is the correct way to insert the cables. Do you see? Left there, right there. So you can see which is left and right on the cable, which is reassuringly thick. good terminations there. Obviously in terms of the way these are recessed into the box, that's really good, but quite thin termination on the end of these cables. I'm going to wear these in the Westone style, which will be over the ear. So let's hope I get this right. So this is how I'm going to insert these, and as you can see there's plenty of room here. They're extremely comfortable, and I can already, with just the left one in, start to hear my own voice inside my head, you know, as if you're a dream within a dream or something like that. So we're going to use the Ibasso DX100, really ancient, Chinese, exceptionally good sounding headphone. And this has got an impedance of 0.0 recurring, etc, etc, and is extremely powerful. This will run a pair of Sennheiser HD800s, so we'll put this down to about 112. There's a track on here called Freedom. I'm hoping that if I press play now, we've got it on low gain, so hopefully this won't blow my ears off. Here we go. Let's have a listen. Okay, that is... I can't hear anything virtually at all. Okay, I like what I've heard so far. That sounds absolutely excellent. What we're going to do now is we're going to take it to another level. We're going to now set this up to my chord Mojo, and we're going to put a comparison set of earphones so as we can give you some idea as to what the difference between the RE2000s and these might be. So we'll get this all connected in through a... This is going to be through a coaxial connection, and this is a fairly cheap cable I found probably on Amazon or some such. So we're going to again turn this down to much quieter. So we're turning this down to almost zero on the minuses so as we don't blow these earphones up. We don't want to be faced with an expensive bill. Right, so that's at zero now. So we'll try a different track if we can. So that was Rage Against the Machine, and I think what we'll do is we'll try and get some sort of more mellow Friday night feel. So we're going to put on The Rhythm of the Saints by Paul Simon. Let's see what that sounds like. It sounds beautiful. It does sound beautiful. I'm not going to give you any impressions of bass or anything like that yet. Let's listen to something else and plug that in. See what I've got here. It might be a suitable match. We're just going to pause you again while I just try and find a suitable match, and we'll plug it in and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison off the cuff. So we'll come back in a couple of seconds. I've had a rifle through and I've found the Obravo Erib 2, who, if you've been following my channel, you're probably aware of. They look a bit botched, but I've heavily customised them, and they are really quite something. So these are hybrid planar magnetic tweeters and dynamic drivers, so they should be a fairly good competition for the RE2000 Silvers. I'm not quite sure what the retail price of the RE2000 Silvers are. I believe the retail price of these is about £600. Anyway, let's have a listen. So I'll put these on first, and then I'll swap as quickly as I can between the two, and I'll do it twice, and then I'll come back to you. So I need to turn this down 2 ticks on the mojo. Go. Okay, that was interesting. I found myself really wanting to listen to it really intimately, to the tiny details. Let's just turn this down. Okay, so that's the RE2000's 15 seconds of fame, I suppose. Let's tell you about it. I take my glasses off now. The last time I listened to a pair of top tier Hifiman IEMs, I didn't like them at all. I thought they were harsh, lacking in bass, and too much emphasis on the high end to try and squeeze out detail, and I found the sound fatiguing. These aren't fatiguing, and it was interesting that I turned the sound up significantly, and I think I was probably listening to the RE2000 Silvers louder than I was listening to the Erib 2s. The reason being is the Erib 2s sounded slightly muffled but had more bass, but also on top of that there was a hint of harshness somehow to the Erib 2As compared to the smoothness that they've achieved with the RE2000 Silvers. They've got an open, clear sound with a linear bass with not much punch, but it's accurate. So my first impressions are, I think that the Erib 2As probably beat it in the bass punch department, but they haven't got anything like the detail and the openness and that world-class sort of, doesn't matter how loud you turn them up, you just get to hear more and more, and it's easier to hear it the louder it is. So my first impressions of the Hifiman RE2000 Silvers are very favourable. So we'll come back in a fortnight when these will probably have to move on to somewhere else, and we'll give you some more insights. But for now, that's going to be the end of our review, and give me whatever comments you like, and I shall submit this to HeadFi and the Hifiman clientele, and many thanks to Mark once again, and good night.